Alrighty, and then next comes section 1.3. Remember, we spent 2 days on section 1.3, so you should have 2 note sheets you can go back to in order to help you study. So from day 1, we talked about translating verbal phrases into algebraic expressions. So remember, with those, we were trying to think about some of our keywords. So if you see the word product, that means multiplication. If you see the word sum, that means addition. And remember that when you see the word less than, you have to write in backwards order. Other than that, you're going to go in the order that the words are written. And then also I guess that was it for day 1. Day 2, we calculated unit rates, and we converted to alternate units by multiplying by a series of fractions. Remember that your homework for that day was a worksheet. And so as you're going back and you're looking for practice problems to do on your own, you can use that worksheet because that was the homework for that night. So we are going to jump right into it. For problem number 4, this would obviously go with our first bullet point, translating verbal phrases into algebraic expressions. So what we see are words, and we literally translate them into math symbols and numbers. So 6 times the quantity of a number added to 4. The hardest thing with these problems is that sometimes when you read them, it doesn't quite jump out at you. So if you ever get stuck, reread the problem and put different emphasis on different words and see if that helps. So kind of like I did when I read it. 6 times the quantity of a number added to 4. So that helps us notice that, 6 times. So we've got 6 and we've got multiplication. And then we've got the word quantity. Quantity to us told us parentheses. So we're taking 6 times something in parentheses. And then we've got a number added to 4. If they don't give us a variable, I usually pick X, but you get to pick your own. A number added to 4. And that's it. Now, when we have the word quantity, remember that we are going to have parentheses, and you have to have 2 things in parentheses. So if you weren't sure if it was supposed to be 6x plus 4 with or without parentheses, remember that there has to be something inside, so like an additional operation inside your parentheses. So that'll help you out. And then in problem number 5, we are calculating our unit rate. Remember that when we do this, all we have to do is divide. There's nothing special. We keep our units the same, and our word per told us where we were going to divide. So in number 5A, when we have $1.99 per 12 pencils, first of all, think ahead to what your final units are going to be. Our final units are going to be $1 per pencil individual. So we just have to take $1.99 per tells us divided by 12 pencils. And we would plug this into our calculator. I think we get 0.165-ish, and so we can round to $0.17 per pencil. And there's our final answer. You will be doing problems 4B and 5B for your homework tonight. For the time being, we're going to jump to the next page where we get to convert into alternate units. So in number 6A, we are asked to convert into feet per second, and that's what you're going to be doing for part B for your homework as well. So converting 145 yards per hour into feet per second, well, I just write exactly what I'm given, yards per hour, and I'm going to feet per second. So then when we put in our units where we're starting and where we're going, that gives us a game plan and tells us what we should be doing. So it looks like we need to convert yards into feet, and we need to convert hours into seconds. It doesn't matter which one you convert first. You just kind of pick one. So I'm going to say let's go from yards to feet first. Well, it doesn't make sense to say how many yards are in a foot. Instead, we say how many feet are in a yard. And there's 3 feet per 1 yard. You do need to know that for the test. Now, I know that 3 feet needs to go on top and 1 yard needs to go on bottom because we need our units of yards to cancel. So that means you have to have 1 on top and 1 on bottom. That leaves us with feet on top, which is perfect because that's where we want to end up. Now we're going to convert our hours into seconds. Well, I don't know how many seconds are in an hour, but we do know how many seconds are in a minute and how many minutes are in an hour. So we just have to take the step in between. So I know that in 1 hour, we have 60 minutes, and that's a common thing. To go from seconds to hours or hours to seconds, you're going to have to go through minutes. Our hours units cancel because we started with 1 on bottom. We needed 1 on top. But now I've got minutes on bottom. So to go from minutes over to seconds, I say that in 1 minute, I have 60 seconds. And now, sure enough, our minutes cancel, seconds are on bottom, and I'm good to go. Now I'm just multiplying fractions. When we multiply fractions, we multiply across the top and across the bottom, and we just divide. So across the top, I've got 145 times 3 times 1 times 1. So in my calculator, I'll type in 145 times 3, and I get 435. Divided by, I've got 1 hour, 1 and 60 and 60. So altogether, I have 3,600. And from here, I just divide. 435 divided by 3,600, I get about 0.12 feet per second. Because remember, those were the units we were trying to end at. You will do problem 6B for homework, and then we'll get started in section 1.4.